Hey guys, Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. Today we're going to be doing a video looking at the Hypervolt Pro 2 percussor versus the Theragun Pro as well. So really excited. These are my two guns here. All right, here we go. So this is the Pro, this is the Theragun Pro. This is the 4th generation. There's a 5th generation. There's also a sub one out. 5th is typically the highest of the professional grades. Then we have the Hypervolt by Hyperice Pro 2. So these are my two guns here. These are probably top of the line, I would say. More practitioner-based, serious athlete, or just a serious kind of weekend warrior that wants kind of the best battery, best depth penetration, best head options. These are going to be your two best guns here out of the gate. All right, so compare and contrast. So you're both at about a 90-watt motor for each of these. Pro 2 is going to have 90 watts. The Theragun Pro, 90 watts. If you get the Theragun Hypervolt, or get the Hypervolt Pro, or Hypervolt 2, it goes to a 60 watt. Or if you go from the Theragun to the Theragun Elite, that goes to a 60 watt. So 90 watt on the Pro, 90 watt on the Theragun Pro as well. So that's going to be big. If you're using it a lot of, multiple times a day, year in, year out, it's going to last a lot longer. Get the 90 watt battery. That's the first thing. Second thing is this guy here has two batteries it comes with. This is the Theragun. So this button here, battery comes out. They give you two of these. You have a little port, you can plug it in. Nice thing about it is you can just swap these things out, no problem. That's an excellent thing. With the Hypervolt, this battery here comes off. Let's see, how do I do it? This little gun right here, this little button right here, I think you press up, and I think you're able to pull it, and this thing comes out like that. So the problem is with this, when you're charging it, guess what? The whole gun's immobilized, so you need to have a second battery if you're gonna do it. With this guy, they already give you two of the batteries right here. So you already have two, so you can swap one out, you're ready to go. So many times I'm using it, it dies, I go downstairs, grab the one on the port, pull it out, put it in, and I'm ready to go. With this guy here, you only get one. You could always get a second one, pop it in, and then you're good to go. Other issue is, not a huge deal, but this thing blinks right here, nonstop when you're charging. So the Hypervolt Pro 2 blinks, nonstop blinking. A little annoying if you're putting it in your bedroom in an area where you're napping or sleeping. This guy here, no blinking at all, just sits there. The newer version uses a USB-C as well, so you don't need the actual port that it goes in, its little port stand. The newer one, the Pro 5, 5th generation, is going to have a USB-C in there. So not too bad. Now Amplitude, this is going to be a little bit less. So this is going to be a 16 millimeter Amplitude. This is going to be the top in the market. Absolute max. So Amplitude is how much this thing goes back and forth. Hypervolt Pro 2 at about 13. So depth-wise, a little bit less. So if you're muscular, you have a lot of soft tissue, you're doing deep lifting, deep movements where you really have to penetrate deep into the hip, the glutes, you would definitely want the Theragun 4th generation just because of that. That's going to be big. If you want more gentle, and this is going to be a lot quieter too, so this will be about half the decibels. So we'll just put it on so you guys can hear it. How this oscillates on is this, you just turn it. So that's top speed, so you guys can hear it. I'll put it about an inch from the mic. So I mean, it's not bad. Like if you're watching a show with your spouse, you can go through and you can kind of grid. And you can go over the tissue. Not as bad, okay? Now, one thing about this, I don't love how this is right here regarding the knob to turn it off and on. Because sometimes I'll hold it like this. I'll hold it right over the middle, and I'll do my area. Because sometimes, I don't want to have to deal with the hyperextension of the gun. Let's say I'm grabbing it like this, and I'll just go right over it. And sometimes my hand will slide and hit that. So much rather have a little push button. Looks pretty cool if you're grabbing the handle, but as soon as you start grabbing it up here, because you just have better ergonomic from like this. Now this guy, let's put this on up here. Big issue I have on this side of the gate is the screen does not really show the battery life that well. When you first use it, it comes in as full. Once you start using it, it looks half full, but it doesn't really show you, is it half, is it 3/4, is it 10% left? So you don't really know until it actually uses up. So you start off here like this. 1750 is the starting bit. So this uses hertz, this uses, I think, similar as well, but 1750 is about 28 hertz, and the high is about 2400, which is about, I think, about 40 hertz. That's the volume on that. A little bit, I'd say about 30-40% louder It just depends for me. You know, I'm taking a minute, I'm pausing the TV when I do it. If you're watching it with your wife or spouse, significant other, friend, whatever, you may want this one. It just depends on what you're doing it. Therapeutically, this is going to be the winner because of this, the depth and because of the ergonomics in this. So, big thing on this ergonomically, you have the ability to change the heads, these head angles. This seems cool, but it's not as great as you think, my personal opinion. This is great if I'm doing my calves, right? Doing my calves, do maybe the back of my hamstring. The best thing about it really isn't this. I find I don't have to change the head that much. It's coming at it like this when I'm doing here. Okay, so grabbing it inside if I'm doing my chest, abdominals, hip flexors, side hips, right? Grabbing it like this is awesome, but the next best thing, if I'm doing my back, guess what? I just grab it like this. I'll grab it inside, and then I'll hit this like this. So you can see just that change of the grip is excellent. Allows you to do the back. If you're doing your back, like lay on your side, pull your leg over and hit it just like that. Great way to get your QL and the side of your glute medius. So just having that grip is the best thing. I find changing the head here, nice for some of the lower leg stuff. But this is the part of the reason why it makes so much more noise is because of this movement here exposes the engine or the motor more. And because of that, you have a little bit louder volume. So just FYI, some of the newer ones are coming out, not moving. It may or may not be the thing you need, but this grip is amazing for anything here in the front and the side. And then changing it from this, grabbing it inside is awesome for anything lower and on the back. Big things out of the gate. Now the heads, I will tell you, the Theragun heads are the best heads by far. If you look at it, this is the wedge. This is an awesome one, but if you look, I can push a little bit. It's a very hard plastic, but it has some give and some forgivingness to it. Why does that matter? Okay, and then here's I call it the clown nose. It's a bigger one. You have the big clown nose, call it the dampener, and then you have the smaller one. Excellent, but you can see when I push into it, it's got some give. Why does that matter? So when you look at the Hypervolt, this is hard plastic. There's no give at all. So when I do this, what I find, it's got 5 speeds in the back here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about similar 2,400 to 3,000 frequency. So we're in that 40 hertz on the high setting. Is that when it hits your body, it actually stings. You hear that? You hear that little bit of a slap? It's almost a little bit of a mini slap. And the reason why is because the head is just very hard plastic. And so it's actually slapping. Where if I put this on, this is the large dampener, call it the clown nose. Look how forgiving that is. See how much that sticks in? So that when I go in and put this on, do you hear any slapping with that? There's zero slapping at all. And it's because of the give. It's because of the give. So let's look at a couple of the options here with this, the heads. So wedge is amazing when you're flushing down an arm, or if I'm flushing down the side of my shoulder, or IT band, or growing. This is wonderful because you can kind of flush, you can kind of break up some trigger points. There is some give to it, but it's still really hard. Then you have the dampener, large and small. This is the really tight trigger point one. This is the thumb, so this is like kind of a medium trigger point one. So it would go the clown nose big, dampener, thumb, full on trigger point, and then your wedge, ice pick in between. And then you have this one either if you're really sensitive or it's really good for fascial flushing. So it's really, really soft, really spongy, but it's good if someone's really sensitive or you're trying to work on just fascial and flushing out. It's excellent. And this is what you get here with the Theragun. So you can see it. And on the Hypervolt, and that's the 4th generation, you have the fork. This is nice. You do not get that with the Theragun. So this is nice because you can come down the spine, or you can go down the quad. So very nice with that. You do not have that with the Theragun. Kind of a trigger point, which is kind of equivalent to the thumb. This is equivalent to probably one of the dampeners, but it's more spongy. Okay, more cushiony. Then you have the circle, but there's no give. No give. And then I mentioned the flat one that's already here. So those are your 5 out of the gates. And again, this one, because of the hard plastic, it slaps. It really, really stings. This is the Hypervolt Pro 2. Theragun 4th Gen, because the heads are much more cushiony, excellent out of the gates. If you're really sensitive, you start with this guy, and then you can work your way down, little less give, and then you can work your way either into the thumb or the wedge. The wedge is my favorite. I had a bicep tendonitis issue, and here's how I use it. Here's my bicep. I'm coming right up like this, and I'm just flushing that here, breaking up trigger points, or I'm going right here, and I'm just doing some myofascial release. I'm shortening and I'm lengthening. I'm even going into the pec area. Now watch this. I can go like this, like that, or I can, how did I do it before? Yeah, so I can, instead of grabbing it like this and putting it in, I can grab it like this and do it. Now, why does that matter? It just changes the angle. So I can grab it, I can change my hand position and then get more in that pec area. So it's nice because you can change that angle, which is very, very helpful. So now I can do that pec. And the big thing you got to be careful of on these, this head on the Theragun's much longer, so you're less likely to get skin and tissue stuck in there. Because when you start going into areas that have folds, maybe your adductors, your armpits, where there's just kind of tissue that folds on itself, this one's really small and the tissue can get caught in there. And then you got to be a little bit careful. There's a little bit of grease in here, so every now and then I'll just kind of come in there and just give it a little wipe down, just to make sure I don't get it on my clothes. Just a little bit. Not a huge deal. All right, excellent. So out of the gate, let's just kind of go over pros and cons, right? We have the 90 watt motors in both, okay? 13 millimeter depth on the Amplitude, that's how far the head goes out, versus 16. A little bit longer of a head here, right? So you can get a little bit deep, not have to worry about tissue folds. You have the adjustable head on here. Again, a little bit gimmicky. I thought it was cool. A little more gimmicky. Great for lower body if you're doing a lot of your legs, if you're doing a lot of your front, you have shin splints, calf issues, definitely going to be great. If you're finding yourself doing more upper body or front, not that big of a deal. The thing that makes the biggest difference is the grip change. Right front of the body here, back of the body, I'm grabbing it inside. You can always change the grip as well. So I'll change it like this for doing inside of the armpit. That changes the angle really nicely. The head's a little more softer on the Theragun, a little more forgiving, so you have less slap, less sting. This is louder, okay? Hypervolt Pro 2, a little quieter, a little less depth. So if you want more of a gentle massage and a little more quiet of a massage, and massage really a therapeutic percussion massage, your Hypervolt Pro 2 will be the way to go. If you're more of an athlete, you want more of a therapeutic, deeper massage, deeper soft tissue, you want more head options, especially with the fascial flush, to the wedge, to the trigger point, and you want more forgiving as well with the cushion, I would go here. Having had both, Theragun Pro 4th Gen is going to be the way to go out of the gates. Having the battery that pops out and having two of them is going to be key. The 5th generation only comes with one battery, so just be mindful of that. You do not get one. So if you're looking, I'll put Amazon links down below. 4th Gen Pro would probably be the best way to go because you get two batteries, and it's about $150 cheaper. So I'll put links down below. It's the holiday time. You guys can check them out. I have both. I try to get them so you don't have to. But having looked at everything, heads, go to Theragun. Batteries, go to Theragun. Quietness, ease of use, I would go to Hypervolt. The ability to change grips and hit different areas conveniently, I would go to Theragun. If you're working on someone else, there may be a slight ergonomic advantage with the Hypervolt because you're just holding it in the hand the whole time. Because if you look, if I hold it with my hand, right, you see how close my hand is to the head? If I compare that to here, you see how much further my hand is away. So if I look at it, right, you see how the head, if I line them up, the head is about like maybe 1 inch north. Well, that puts more torque on the wrist. So if I'm pushing down like this, right, the further my hand is away from the axle, here, it's going to put more torque. So if you're doing massage on someone else, you may actually do better with the Hypervolt Pro 2. FYI on that, okay? Hope this made sense for you guys. Again, my money here, if you were a active athlete, you want the best massage possible, you want the best percussion, best soft tissue therapeutic support, Theragun. If you're doing it to someone else, massaging someone else, or you want something more quiet and easy to use, I will go with the Hypervolt Pro 2. All right, guys, put the links down below. Let me know your thoughts on the topic. Would love to see it. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care, y'all. Bye.